Hi, I'm Dave from Special Fork, and today I got a great party recipe for you. It's a stuffed Asiago basil mushroom. And what I like about this recipe is that it's really fancy, but it doesn't take a lot of time to do. So the first thing we want to do is to clean the mushrooms. And mushrooms absorb water just like a sponge. So when you're cleaning them, you want to hit them with water real quickly and then immediately pat them dry and clean them off with a paper towel. Alternatively, you can use something like this, which is a mushroom brush. And if you have one of these, just gently clean the mushroom off. And if you do that, you don't need to put it in water. Okay. The next thing we want to do is that the mushroom cap needs to be separated from the stem. So the easiest way to do that is to push the stem forward slightly and then twist it off, and it should come off nice and easily. Now you should hold on to the mushroom stem because you can saute them up and use them for an omelet. Now I have a bunch of mushrooms already done, and they're on a greased baking sheet. They go in the oven for 10 minutes at 375 degrees. Now while those are cooking, it gives us time to bring together the stuffing ingredients. So I've got some mayonnaise and Asiago cheese. And with a soft cheese like an Asiago, instead of using the traditional box grater, I like to use the rotary grater, because with a box grater, when you get to the end, the cheese tends to crumble. And this grater, you just put the cheese on top and it'll grate all the way through till the end of the cheese. We've also got some basil, and the recipe actually calls for a food processor. If you don't have one, you can chop it up and then mix it together by hand, just like we're doing here. And then the last ingredient is just some white pepper that we're going to add. Okay? And we're just going to stir these together. And we're all set once the mushrooms come out of the oven, and we'll be ready to get started stuffing. I've taken the mushrooms out of the oven, and if there's any liquid in it, you want to go ahead and drain it out. Otherwise, you can get started stuffing. Now, to stuff the mushrooms, you want to use a small spoon, and I'm using a grapefruit spoon, and the reason I like it is because it's got a nice pointy tip here, and that just allows me greater control as I'm stuffing the mushroom. So it's real simple. Just pick up the mushroom, and that first spoonful covers up the hole nicely, and then just give it another one there. Okay? And then we're just going to top it with a cherry tomato. Just like that. Okay? Now the way to store mushrooms is that you can either keep them in the container that you bought them in, or you can transfer it to a brown paper bag, and that just allows the mushrooms to keep fresher longer. The other thing about mushrooms is they're actually kind of like flowers in that as they grow, they'll start to open up and you'll see the gills. And if that happens, it's perfectly fine to eat. And in fact, some people prefer to eat it that way. Okay, so we will do all of the mushrooms, and when they're done, they go back in the oven for 375 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes until they're lightly browned. And once you're done, you're ready to party. Okay, so the mushrooms are done. I just took them out of the oven. Let's have a bite. For more recipes and ideas, check us out at specialforkblog.com.